In my opinion, Skyrim is the most overrated game ever made. If you like Skyrim, that's great, that's fantastic, but it's just not for me. Let me explain why. First of all, in my opinion, the absolute most important thing when you're telling a story is to make the viewer or the player care about the characters involved in the story. Without that, you don't have a very good story. I recently started on a second playthrough of the game. It's on eBay as I speak because I don't want to play it anymore. But on my first playthrough, it was really confusing. The beginning scene of the game, you have like Ulfric, Stormcloak, and this other guy that looks very similar to him, and the thief guy who runs off and gets hit by the arrow and dies. But I couldn't tell the difference between the different characters, and then when you get off the cart, that one guard, whose name I don't remember because I really don't care, that one guard is nice to you, but he's still going to send you off to the chopping block. And I couldn't tell the difference between any of them. So right away, my first rule for telling a good story is violated. Now, I'll be honest, I only got into the game a few hours on either playthrough, and it felt like the longest few hours of my life both times. First time around, I understood this better the second time around, but still not completely. I really got confused with the original story they give you. Well, I followed the guard guy. I don't know if there's a different way to do it if you follow the Stormcloak guy, I guess. I don't know how to follow the other guy. I just went into the tavern or whatever it was when the dragon was attacking the town, and I went into the place, and I always follow the guard guy. I don't know how to do it the other way. Anyway, the explanation they give you for current events, like Jarl this and Jarl that, and I'm like, what? Who or what? Also, there's a very poor mapping system for the game. I thought I was doing one mission at a particular time, and it turns out I went to the location for a different mission, so I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I'm like, why am I here? What am I doing? And that was basically the whole few hours. And it took a few hours because, yeah, the world is great, it's open, it's beautiful and everything, but maybe it's just a little too big. It takes about forever and a freaking half to get from point A to point B, regardless of where those 2 points are located on the map. My biggest beef with the game is, besides not caring about the characters, my second biggest beef with the game is that nothing really happens. Other than the dragon attacking the city at the beginning of the game, or the town, which of course I was rooting for the dragon the whole time. I don't want to join the Imperial Army or the Stormcloaks because I'm rooting for the dragon. The dragon got me out of the chopping block, you know? I was rooting for the dragon. I want to join the dragon's team. But anyway, nothing really happens other than that for a very, very long time. And quite frankly, the battles are really boring. I mean, you just stand there, slash, 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 slash. I guess they get more exciting when you learn like spells and have other weapons and stuff like that, but it was really boring, and the mechanics are horrible. They're horrible. It's just like R1, which I have it on PS3, so it's R1, and slash, 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 the mechanics for the battle sequences, they suck. And the visuals are good, but it's not a polished masterpiece. The second playthrough, I played as an Argonian, which are the lizard creatures, and my tail was sticking through my clothing, and whenever you're carrying the axe, that goes through your clothing either, so it's not a very polished game. It doesn't look realistic, although, yeah, the world is open and visually gratifying and everything, but it's not a masterpiece like everyone's saying. And also, the audio is downright horrible. Like the slashing, the slashing sound effects, they sound so fake. They sound like they came out of like a 70s action movie, right? That's what it sounds like. You know, maybe the story is interesting if I got deeper into it, but I just did not have the patience to do that. the talking to people, that seems to be where all of the storyline comes from, is the talking to people. And honestly, it's really, really boring. It just, like, I'm hitting dialogue after dialogue after dialogue, and this person is telling me basically nothing. And I don't want to sit there and listen. I want to go and do things, right? That's what the game is for. And some people might say, well, maybe you just don't like open world games. No, I think I like open world games. For example, I played several open world games. This may be a bad example, but Grand Theft Auto and Saints Row are both open world games, and I enjoyed those. But they do have somewhat linear story. I think too much open worldness can be a bad thing. A lot of people compare games as an art form to movies, because people say, well, movies are an art form, games are an art form, right? Well, an open world game is nothing like a movie, because a movie is linear. It's always linear. You can't have an open world movie. You can't choose what any of the characters in a movie do. So I don't think open worldness is necessarily a good thing. And also, I think people rate this game higher than they would otherwise because they compare it to what came before. Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, I've never played that game, so I don't have a basis for comparison with this game. But a lot of people who played the older games like this one a lot more. So I think that people are kind of comparing it to the older game, and this one's so much better than the older game that the scores get jacked up. This will be a topic for a different rant. Another one that people will hate, but it's similar to the reason that I didn't like the Avengers, I think, compared to a lot of other people. A lot of people liked the Avengers because it was faithful enough to the source material, more so than other Marvel movies. And I think a lot of people who have read the comics, which I haven't read the comics, liked it better because it was more faithful to the source material than perhaps they were expecting. Or it portrayed the characters in a way that they really enjoyed. Movie is all about the characters in it, and as such, I think that even if the character in, say, comic book adaptation movie isn't really that great of a character, if they did a good job with movifying the character, then people are going to like it more because they had preconceptions about what that character should be like. And to the virgin user, I don't have any preconceptions because I've never read the comics. So the character portrayals that they gave me, I didn't think were all that good. Anyway, Skyrim is overrated in my opinion. A lot of people who have played it comment on the vast open world that you can explore. Well, quite frankly, if I want to go explore an open world and that's all I want to do, I'll walk outside. Why I didn't bother getting one. Now, don't get me wrong, I think the devs did a wonderful job on the interface and everything, but why? Any game Ouya can play, I can simply play on my phone or my tablet, and for what it can't, I'll use a real gaming console.